Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside taking advantage of the terrain to really do what my body needs to do to just be able to walk for longevity. That's right. I'll give you a little frame of reference. I have the pleasure of getting to work outside every day. Now, as a manager, I don't always get to spend the day the way other members of my team do. They're the ones who really are in the trenches, and they do a myriad of outdoor activities with guests. And that's sometimes, most of the time, with students, but sometimes with corporate groups and special events. But it is all outdoor education based. So it might be learning how to use a compass, or at archery, doing some low ropes or challenge course activities, rock climbing, aerial parks, zip lines, all sorts of outdoor activities. I had the chance to spend some time outside with a group of individuals who are, well, for all intents and purposes, from the city, which means all of their outdoor and walking activity happens to take place the majority of the time on flat, level ground. So as much outdoor activity as these young people might get in their everyday at recess and other times, it tends to be on, well, manicured spaces like a field and, well, or in a gym. So taking this group of 25, 13-year-olds for a walk, a Forest Ecology Hike around a lake, which is about 2.5 kilometers, which when I take the dog on the same hike, we're about a half hour to 45 minutes. But as any educator knows, whatever you can do with a group of students is going to take at least 3 times longer. That's right. And wow, it was eye-opening, not only for myself, for members of the student community, but also for their teachers who have the pleasure of knowing these kids so much better than I do. And we were all amazed at the difficulty they had with the terrain because they just lack the balance and coordination that I take for granted because of my habit of walking outside twice a day, every day, in the terrain that I choose to walk in. I know I need to walk upgrades and downgrades, dry conditions and wet conditions, and it changes. It develops not only my stronger, more dominant muscles in my quads, in my glutes, in my core, in my back, in my calves, it also really engages and strengthens all the smaller stabilizer muscles in my ankles, in my knees, in my hips. And I will change my cadence. I will tackle grades uphill differently than I tackle grades downhill. I know how to step what they call a French step. That's stepping with your foot sideways instead of just straight up and down for traction, a little bit of control, a little bit of stability. But my body is able to walk along a narrow forest path while looking off trail. My feet just know where to go. And this takes years of practice and years of habit, but it's something I'm able to do. So I'm able to navigate the natural world and not spend the entire outdoor experience hiking looking at my feet, making sure that I'm safe, okay? And that is what I see a lot of people who aren't in the habit of walking outside. So please, going outside is one thing. Going for a walk in your neighborhood, in the park, is something very different. But choosing to walk in nature, on a path or even off path, engages different parts of your body so very differently. People will need to change the way they breathe because of the terrain, maybe because of the different muscle groups they're using. Maybe it's their pace, or they're carrying a pack while they're backpacking, or hiking, for instance. You'll be carrying a little more weight. And when I'm working, I got to carry weight. I got to carry water and first aid and other resources for the group. So I might be carrying another 20 pounds, which is why I choose to also, when I can, practice in weighted walking, right? So in my other videos, you might see me wearing a 40-pound weighted vest. Distributes the weight a little more evenly. It's not in a backpack, changing my posture, because it does help strengthen not only my more dominant muscle groups, but I walk in the same terrain, and it's also really strengthening those other smaller stabilizer muscles. It improves my balance. And so when I see kids walking with their hands in their pockets, I got to stop them and say, hey, I appreciate maybe your hands are cold, but you've got gloves, please wear them. I need your hands to be outside. Your hands are part of the natural, safe way of walking. And they fall. But if they do fall and their hands are available, more likely to catch them and not get hurt. I saw a lot of kids today falling with their hands in their pockets. They ate it. It was It's sad. Now, everyone came out of the hike safe. Some were a little more wet than they needed to be, despite wearing snow pants. They spent a lot of time on their knees and on their bottoms, sliding, slipping, and falling, given the terrain, because they're young bodies, so capable, so much healthier lungs than mine, just challenged, not only by the duration of the hike, but more specifically because of the terrain. Their legs, their bodies weren't used to that level of activity, despite their age, being outside for 2 hours consistently without a break, right? Despite the stops to talk about, well, nature moments, right? The act of just walking with the terrain on a narrow path was a real eye-opener for myself and for the visiting teachers that happen to be part of the group. So brings me to the topic of today's video. Going outside is good for you. Walking is great for you. Walking in nature can vastly improve the benefits for not only your cardiovascular system, your heart health, all right? Walking in nature also calms. It also gives you access to phytoncides. But what it does to strengthen your bones, to strengthen your muscles, help with coordination and posture and balance, and really will improve overall mobility. Now we're talking about your longevity. All right. So when we statistically acknowledge the risk factors of elderly folks suffering injury from simple falls, right? It's due to a lack of balance. It's due to a lack of muscle that we would have taken for granted. So recovery time obviously is a little bit more challenging as we age. Strength and muscle and bone density are factors as we age. So that's why I'm encouraging people to do it while you can. Every walk I go into is just a small investment in my future health. Yes, benefiting now, but every step I take today is going to pay off for my future self. So please, I encourage you, go outside, take a walk. Don't think of it as exercise. Think of it as an investment. All right, in your future self. We need you. All right, you need yourself. You need to be the best version of yourself. 20 minutes a day. Doesn't have to be every day, but 20 minutes, a couple times a week. If you can, try and carve out a 5-hour experience once a month. And then if the calendar can fit it, try and find 3 days in your calendar year to spend time in nature. All right, that's part of actually what they consider a nature prescription. All right, part of a healthy lifestyle is finding time outside 3 times a week, 20 minutes, 5 hours a month, and then 3 days a year. So I see the difference, not only myself, but I see what time outdoors, walking in nature can do to develop the human body. And there are benefits to the human mind, the human spirit. So go outside, all right? You need it. You're worth it. We need you. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.